Okay, hello everyone.
Hi.
So my name is Krish Lada, and I'm currently a sophomore at Cypress Ranch High School, and I'm really excited to get started with this interview. Okay. So if we could get started, could everyone please start by saying their first name? I'm Krish.
I'm Linda.
Marianne.
Fred.
Pat.
Nice to meet you. So my first question for y'all is, what is one of your favorite memories, as in childhood or even in your like early 40s? What is your favorite memory that you cherish a lot? Would you get started with you?
I remember being with my grandmother and doing things with her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as I grew up in the family, we were just a really close Italian family and grew up in one. And as I grew older and began to work,
Mm-hmm.
I would spend my lunch hour going to pick up fish and chips and bringing it to my grandmother's house and having lunch with her.
That's amazing.
So that it meant a lot to me, and I wanted to bring that to my children and that they'd feel that way too about the family.
Wow, that's really cool. Could we start with you?
Sure. I grew up in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of 4 children. And when I say country, I went to a one-room school.
Oh wow.
I know, I'm old. And so it was a situation where if you wanted to play with somebody,
Mhm.
you kept good feelings between you and your brothers and sisters, okay? But I think that kind of a childhood prepared me for all of these other wonderful people that come into my life. I've had a fantastic life. No illnesses, my family's been all well.
Wow.
And I just wish that they would have those kind of futures as well.
Wow, that's really inspiring.
Okay, to reach way back, I guess one of my earliest memories is when we got our first dog. That was very enjoyable. And then we sent to summer camp. That was good. And in my pre-teen years, I joined the Boy Scouts, which I attended for probably about 2 years. And in my early teens, became interested in cars. I worked for a news agency delivering papers, and as I turned 15, we were able to drive at that age.
Oh wow.
And we delivered by car. And my associates and I, 2 of them, at that age, we took a trip to California by ourselves. And at 16, we went back again. I worked at Douglas Aircraft before the war ended. And the war did end while we were up there. And we had to come back home and go to school again. So that takes care of my younger years. After that, my life was varied. I took what was called the Smith Hughes course in high school. That was auto shop and welding
Oh yeah.
rather than English and geography.
You have a choice?
Yeah, so out of high school, I got a job as an auto mechanic, and that led to auto racing in Chicago, which we did for a couple of years. Now I'm in my early 20s, and from auto mechanic, I became a machinist, special machinery builder, and tool and die maker, and got married. So,
Wow.
how else? Keep going? No, that's enough. Okay.
You're okay.
Somebody else.
Wow. How about you?
I was born and raised in Liverpool, England, at the end of the war, and things were really, really difficult at the time. and we didn't have much. The country was trying to rebuild after all the bombing. But one of the fun things we used to do, we get 6 weeks off for the summer, and of course no money. So we would go down to the River Mersey. Are you familiar with the Beatles songs?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, well, they're the same age group as I am, so
Oh, wow.
that's my only claim to fame. Used to go down to the cabin and watch them practice before they were the Beatles. But back to one of my favorite memories is my friends and I would go down to the River Mersey and we'd hop on one of the ferries and go across. And if you didn't get off at the other side, you were supposed to pay, but we would go in the restrooms and we'd just ride the ferry back and forth.
Oh, wow.
The inspector that was on the ferry knew we were doing that as kids, and he wouldn't bother the girls, but he'd go in the boys' restroom and get them by the ear and just put them off, take them to Liverpool back and put them off and wouldn't let them back on again.
We're a rogue bunch, as you can tell.
So these were uplifting. Mine was a little mischievous, but we had fun doing it.
I never would have believed it.
Yes, let's see, I worked a few jobs, a shoe store at first, and it was down by the cabin, like I mentioned earlier. And then I decided I wanted something more than England was offering at the time. So I emigrated in 1960 and went to California, worked at a bank, and then went out to Utah, met my husband, and we were married for 63 years. So
That's amazing.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Okay, wow. I'd love to move on to the next question. Okay, so my second question is, what are some of either your biggest or smallest life challenges, and how did you guys overcome that? And this question could be perceived either as a really big challenge or even a small day-to-day challenge. Just anything that you were able to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I've always been afraid of the water. And the grandmother that I spoke of before was 7 years old. I was born and raised in Galveston.
Oh, wow.
And when she was 7 years old, she went through the 1900 storm. So she always had stories to tell about the water and what it did and how she lost people and whatever. I happened to be with my father out in the Gulf one day on a float.
Boats, yeah.
And I slid off, and he didn't realize I had slid off. So I went down and came up and went down and came up. He caught me the second time, but it just made me even more afraid of the water after that.
Oh, wow.
I took swim lessons as an adult even. Could not make myself relax enough in the water, so I don't swim today.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just dealt with it and just got over it that way. I mean, I appreciate the water. I just don't get in it.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really can't think of any challenges. I say I have been so blessed my whole life. I married my high school sweetheart. We have
Wow.
2 children. Of that union, I have 3 grandchildren
Oh, wow.
and 1 great-grandchild.
That's amazing.
They are all the delight of my life, so I can only wish for other young people coming up that they appreciate their families and always let them know they're loved and cherished, and to be able to keep passing that on. One of the things I did as a young mom with my daughter and son, we would spend time with my husband's grandmother, and she would tell us all about how it was when she was growing up, and you couldn't take a shower every day. You know, you wore a dust bonnet when you went to bed at night. And they were always amazed at the things that she didn't have that they have. And it made them appreciate more what they have. So,
That's amazing.
Okay, a challenge that changed my life. Well, like I said, I was a tool and die maker, and that involved a lot of metal grinding. And after a few years, it started to work on my lungs, and my doctor said, I better get a new job or else I'm gonna die. So I guess I got a new job, and I didn't know where to go or what to do. I had a small family, 26 years old at the time, married with 2 children at that time. So a buddy of mine and myself took a correspondence course to be stockbrokers. We passed the course, and of course worked our way up, cold calling and whatever over the years, and I stayed in that business for 30 years. 30 years. So that was a big change in my life. I didn't know what was going to happen at that time, and it was a struggle in the early 2-3 years. It was a big struggle, but we made it. And then I had my 3rd child, and they're always a struggle, but they all turned out wonderful. So here I am, and they're still doing good, and there you go.
Wow. That's really interesting. Thank you.
I think the biggest struggle I had was when we lost our daughter in 1997. There were days that I wanted to give up and question, you know, how could I get out of this? And I told myself, you have to keep going, because I had 2 other sons. You have to keep going, and that was really, really difficult. But our sons have turned out well, just like yours, and we have, they've given us 10 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren, and I actually have great-grandchildren this high, way taller than me. Yeah, they're teenagers now. And if I had given up and not pushed through that time, I know the youth of today have struggles too. They're different than ours, perhaps, but a struggle is a struggle no matter how old you are or where you are. And you just have to keep doing one day at a time and tell yourself tomorrow will be a little better. And then you get through tomorrow and you say tomorrow will be a little bit better, and before you know, well, not before you know it, sometimes it takes a long time. But you get through struggles, so don't ever give up.
Wow, I'm really sorry, but that's amazing to hear. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to move on to our last question. And if you guys need more time to think about this, that is totally okay. But the question is, what is some strong advice you guys give to the youth? And I know you guys already mentioned it in the second question, but if you would like to repeat that or say something else that really connects with you, what is some advice you'd love to give and leave on with the upcoming generation?
Respect your elders. Always be aware of what they're going through also. And it's just, it's very, very important that you include people in conversations. I don't care if they're 21 or 97 or whatever. It's so important, because when you get to be our age, we feel that all the time, and we want to be included, and we can still talk to you. It's just very important for the children to be aware of their elders and be respectful.
I think what I said before, but I agree with Linda that, just like with all these people in here, we have only been together not even a year yet. And so you're still meeting people, just like teenagers are meeting people, whether they go on to college or whatever, to be open and listen, not to just go blowing through everything, but listen to what people have to tell you, what their life was like, where they came from. All of those things are so important to pass on to your own family. But I say the things I learned from these people, I mean, it just blows my mind when I grew up in the country and it was perfectly fine to ride your bicycle down X Road and know that nobody was going to stop you and pick you up or anything like that. I pray that my great-grandchild could have a lifetime like that, or a childhood like that.
I would say, first of all, be responsible for yourself. Don't expect other people to support you all the time. Make your own way, and if possible, help other people along the way. Be tolerant of everyone else, different races, whatever, genders, and I guess that's it. Be tolerant, helpful, and carry your own weight. So there you are.
That's pretty much what I was thinking too. And I think one of the important things for your age group, as I see it, you know, just watching TV and having grandchildren, and that is try to find within yourself who you are. Don't look to your phone and see other people that you think are having a better life than you. We don't know what's going on the other side of their life, so don't judge and make yourself feel little. Be strong, find something that you're interested in and pursue that. And as has been mentioned, talk to the old people, we're not that bad. I have a grandson that lives close here. He comes over once a week. He updates my phone to make sure everything's all right, you know, and I appreciate that. And we talk about everything from the stock market to what's going on in the world, and what he's learned. He's a high school teacher, and what he's learned about life, you know, and we talk as equals, and we learn from each other. So there's a lot of things out there that they can hold to. I must say that family is the most important thing. Stay close to your family. Sometimes, you know, you don't agree with your parents, and they don't perhaps agree with what you're doing. But when it comes down to it, family is all you've got, really. Everything else can go away, and but you still have your family, so respect them, love them, and be polite. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate each and everyone's advice. It means a lot to get to hear you guys' experiences, and I'm really grateful to have learned so much already from this short time. Thank you, really.
Thank you for being
Thank you.
interested in us.
We all know a little more about each other than we did
That's
an hour
right.
ago. And that was nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this concludes the interview, and I'm really grateful for all of you guys for still hanging on and for supporting each other throughout everything. And I'm especially grateful for your support with